Good morning, my dear students. Myself, your Varalakshmi madam. Today, we'll discuss about inheritance. What is inheritance? Inheritance means a child class obtaining the properties of the parent class. A child class obtaining the properties of the parent class. Like, for example, if you say, good example is if you take father, son. Son acquires all the properties of the father, but father need not acquire all the properties of son. So, a child class acquiring properties of the parent class. So, when you show it diagrammatically, let us say father class as class A, son as class B, then class A becomes a parent class or base class, child class becomes a derived class. So, you draw it diagrammatically like this. This is child class, this is the parent class. Okay, this is child class and this is the parent class. So terminology wise we can say this as the parent class or the base class, and the child class we can also call it as derived class. Okay, so what is the use of this inheritance? The main use of this inheritance is reusability. Reusability means the parents properties are being used by the child class. That means you are reusing instead of again declaring the functionality of the parent in the child. You just take the properties of the parent directly to the child class. This has been declared in different ways, different types of inheritance like single inheritance, multi-level inheritance, multiple inheritance, hierarchical inheritance, and hybrid inheritance. Now let us see one by one to clearly understand what is this different types of inheritance. So now let us see single inheritance, which is also called simple inheritance. Single inheritance, and which is also called simple inheritance. Okay. Okay, so let us see some example now. So here I am taking like father son. I am taking a vehicle as a parent class or a base class, and the child class as a four wheeler. So here the child class four wheeler class is taking all the properties which are being used in the vehicle class. Okay, let us see programmatically how to write a program for single inheritance. So as usual we will write hash include IO stream using namespace std. Okay, so now the class name is vehicle. So let us write class vehicle, open the bracket. So let us write constructor. What is a constructor? A function with the same name as the class name. So I am writing a constructor that is default without the parameter, just to print something. Cout. Okay, cout. What you want to print? Vehicle class. Vehicle class. Close the constructor, close the class with a semicolon. Now this is a, and this is a parent class, or we can say it as a base class. Okay, now class is closed. Now we'll write a child class. Okay, now we'll write a child class. How to write the one more class? See here, the child class name is four wheeler. So class four wheeler, we have to use colon public. What is our parent name? Vehicle. So you are taking the parent, the properties of the vehicle to the child class. Now open. Now for this class also we need to write a constructor. We can write a constructor. What is a constructor? Same name as the class name. Your class name is four wheeler. So four wheeler. Constructor opened. Here also we'll try to print something. Four wheeler. Semicolon, close the constructor, so the class semicolon. So now parent class is ready, and this is the child class. Okay, this is the child class. So parent class, child class, which is also one more name is derived class. Okay, two classes are ready. Now we need to write the main. So let us write a main here. Main. So you know that class is just a static one without any memory allocation. So two classes are there but without any memory allocation until you create a object. So I am going to create an object. Okay. Let us take four-wheeler and the object name is some OB1. Okay, return 0. Okay, now just you try to analyze the output of the program, how it is going to execute. See, the execution always starts with the main. In the main you are creating one object with OB1 for which class? Four-wheeler. So for four-wheeler class it is going to create an object. We already discussed it. Whenever we create an object, automatically that corresponding constructor, default constructor will be invoked. So four-wheeler default constructor is without parameter and this one. So this is going to be invoked, right? Okay, but what you have to observe here is this four-wheeler class is being derived from the parent class. So what are the properties which the parent will be taken by child class. That means all the vehicle constructors inherited here. So what will happen here is how the constructors will be called. Just you observe carefully. Whenever you call an object, you are calling four-wheeler. Four-wheeler parent is vehicle. So it is going to call which one? It is going to call first this constructor. So first vehicle constructor will be invoked. Again I will repeat, when you create an object for the child class, it is going to invoke the parent constructor. That is, it is going to invoke the parent constructor. So it is going to print first vehicle class. Then it is going to invoke the child one, that is four-wheeler. So this is output of your program. So it means what? A constructor invocation will be always from the parent to the child. Destructor invocation will be from child to the parent. That means even though you have called the child object, but it is going to invoke the which constructor? Parent constructor. If you have one more parent, then that parent. So always the constructor invocation will be from the parent to child. Okay, destructor invocation is from the child to the parent. So this is a simple example what we discussed about simple inheritance. So we are done with simple inheritance, right? So let us see next one called multi-level inheritance. So let us discuss now about, already we discussed about simple inheritance. Now let us discuss about multi-level inheritance. In multi-level inheritance, there will be only one base class and one derived class. This is this base class, class A, class B, class C. Like this multi levels. In levels we can have. So this is a derived class from class A. This is the derived class C has been derived from class B. Okay. So what are the properties which the class A has will be derived by class B. What are the properties which the class B has will be derived by class C. Now let us take this as your grandfather. What are the properties which the grandfather has got will be given to your father? From the father it will be written by your son. Grandfather to father, father to son. So in multi-level inheritance there will be only one base class from which one derived. Again it will be derived like this. Okay. So you can take an example like here there is a vehicle. One class, this is a four-wheeler class and this is a car. Previously how you wrote in the same way, now we can write a example. So I have taken three classes, vehicle, four-wheeler, car, grandfather, father and son as example. Let us see class vehicle, class four-wheeler, class car. Here we have inherited. Class vehicle is a parent class, this is a child class and this is a next child class. Okay, this is vehicle, four-wheeler is inheriting vehicle, four-wheeler is inheriting vehicle, car is inheriting four-wheeler, car is inheriting four-wheeler. So you know public four-wheeler. Like this I have written constructor for every class. Let us create an object for the car class. So if I create an object for this class, it is going to call this constructor, but in turn this constructor is going to call this constructor and this constructor is going to call this constructor. So finally